the story now, South Africans may be forced to submit a biometric information for new SIM cards, but security experts are divided. Concerns are being raised about privacy as well as data protection. But Icasa believes the stricter measures will curb the hijacking of cell phone numbers. I'm now joined by Martin Potgieter, the co-founder and technical director of Nclose. Martin, thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's talk a little bit about, just the problem that we're facing right now when it comes to certain cell numbers being hijacked. I've seen it. Many individuals that I know have witnessed it as well, where the cell phone will be hijacked. The individual will start sending messages to all their contacts saying, please send me an e-wallet. Certainly there's a problem here.
Yes, thanks for having me on the show this morning. It is a big problem. I've never been affected by it, but according to the statistics from the banking governing body or the banking community, is that this, on 2021, there's been an increase of 91% of this happening. Clearly, it's not just done for spam, it's done for fraud. So, when you do banking, sometimes you have to get a two-factor on your phone, and that's SMS to you. So that's why many times these cell phone swaps are done fraudulently in order to authorize those fraudulent transactions. So it is a massive problem. And I think Icasa's intentions are actually good in that they want to stop that from happening.
Yeah, but let's talk a little bit about exactly how this biometric data gathering will actually work and where exactly are these concerns?
Well, I think that most experts are concerned because the regulation that's been gazetted isn't clear on how it's going to work. They basically just say that they want the cell phone providers to tie your biometric information to your cell phone number. And obviously, there's implications around that. And when we say biometric, we typically think fingerprint, but it could be retinas or retina scans, your eyes, facial recognition. There's different types of biometric scanning. But Icasa isn't clear exactly how they want it to work. And the big concern is around how the cell phone providers will store this information and how they will use it. That's really where the people that are opposing this are coming in and saying that we're not sure how that's going to be done. Typically, we see breaches all the time where data is leaked, personal information is leaked. Now we're talking about biometric information as well, which is kind of the top tier of authenticating a person, and people don't want that information out.
I can imagine with that, Martin. Yeah, absolutely. Because when you're looking at it, if I purchase a new SIM card, for example, that would automatically mean that with my purchase of the SIM card, my face then, whether using whatever type of biometric information, your face gets captured or your fingerprints get captured. Does that not automatically mean that the face, the fingerprints, and everything that is linked to me is linked to my bank accounts, is linked to my home address, is linked to my medical aid or my medical information and everything as alike? Does that put then at a higher risk of the type of information that can be accessible to somebody with ulterior motives?
Yes, absolutely. And I think most people underestimate that link. There's, Facebook do these links with different organizations. So that's always a concern. But I think the risk with biometric information is that unlike if, let's say, there's a breach at Facebook or whatever organization, and your password gets out, you can reset your password, but your biometric information you can't go change your fingerprint. So once that information gets out, and it's difficult to reset from that kind of scenario. So yeah, that's the big concern.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking here about certain elements or criminal elements in society, particularly in South Africa, with South Africa statistics saying that we are one of the most hackable countries, if there's even such a terminology, in the world, where a lot of this, these hackers and a lot of these, especially when it comes to financial crime, is actually being instituted in South Africa simply because of our lack of security and how we are able then, that's why information gets captured. That's why we had a similar problem with Transnet. That's why we've got various problems as well with the financial services, even credit bureaus being able to, get themselves so vulnerable that hackers are able to get access to that information. What is it that we're not getting right as a country here? Because surely we should know by now that we're in the fourth industrial revolution, and that means that there are also sinister measures that go with it.
Yeah, you're 100% right, but I'm a little bit skeptical about saying that we're the most hackable country. We're obviously reading the news in South Africa, and that's first to mind. But this is actually a global problem. We see it all over the world. People are getting hacked, organizations are getting hacked. And really, there's a trend that things are improving, but we still have a lot of way to go, not just here in South Africa, but globally, to protect our information. And organizations need to take, with all this regulation coming out, GDPR, PAPIA, organizations are now being forced to take cybersecurity seriously. So we hope that it'll improve. And I think there's certainly a aspect of awareness as well for the consumer. They need to be aware that if they're giving their fingerprint data to an organization, that organization has that data, and there's some obligation by that organization to make sure that they secure it. And consumers need to hold these organizations accountable for that.
Martin, could there be a safer alternative to preventing the hacking of cell phone numbers as opposed to providing biometric information?
That's an excellent question, and I think there probably is some alternatives that we can look at. I don't see. I think they should investigate that more throughout the globe. They claim that other cell phone companies or other countries are using biometrics, but I think there should be another option that we can use because we're gonna, this is gonna set a trend where more and more companies are gonna ask for biometric information. So I think it's important that we look for all other alternatives to secure the transactions that are happening. Inevitably, like I said, Icasa have good intentions here, but I think that they need to look at other alternatives as well.
We'll have to leave it there. Martin Potgieter, the co-founder and the technical director of Nclose, just speaking to us a little bit about how is it that we can prevent our cell phones from being hacked. I don't know how many of you have actually had your cell phone hijacked, but it's traumatizing to say the very least.